The future of the property sector is on the brink of a seismic shift. A new wave of women is emerging, poised to redefine what's possible. Women are a revolutionary force waiting to detonate the foundations of a system built to exclude them. The question is, are we ready for the change they're about to bring?
In the construction industry, you get projects based on your CITP grading, It means I can only work around the areas that I come from, but if there's nothing happening there, then it means there isn't going to be any opportunities for growth for me to get to a point where I can, be able to do projects of a bigger scale.
Business people, let alone businesswomen, particularly at those low ends, are not taken seriously. And I'll tell you why. The mechanisms of our economy are not predisposed to inclusion.
Funding is a huge element. The second one is around financial literacy, because in order for you to get to the point where you are able to secure that funding, you need to be able to demonstrate that you understand financial literacy.
The solutions that we're looking at is actually developing things such as master classes that enable women to know and understand what it is to actually play a board role in a listed sector.
South Africa's journey towards women's economic empowerment is anchored in the broad-based Black Economic Empowerment BBEE policy. By embedding women's participation across 4 critical scorecard elements: ownership, management control, skills development, and preferential procurement. Established in 1996, the Commission on Gender Equality Act created an independent institution to advance gender equality in South Africa with a strong focus on women in business and industry. The Commission serves as a watchdog, investigating systemic bias, advising on policy improvements, and ensuring that both public and private sectors are held accountable for gender-based discrimination. The government has created a deliberate path for economic inclusion. In 2020, President Cyril Ramaphosa made a landmark commitment.
Millions of South African women still live in conditions of poverty and unemployment. They face discrimination and violence all the time. To give effect to our commitment to the upliftment of women, the first action is to expand the access of women to economic opportunities. We will do this, amongst other things, by setting aside up to 40% of public procurement for women-owned businesses.
Recent financial data illuminates these commitments. In the 2023-24 financial year, 42% of departmental contracts were allocated to women-owned businesses.
I think the more and more initiatives we do have and more exposure we provide into women in the industry, we narrow the knowledge gap and we also increase the experience gap. Because a lot of ladies got all the knowledge, but they say, I need the experience. But ladies must understand there's no free handouts. Sorry, I'm going to go back to that. You also need to perform. There's no freebies in life. I didn't get it free. I had to work very hard to get where I'm at today. So as a woman, you also need to understand, if I want to lean in, I need to produce as well. So it's a two-way streak as well.
So without regulations, then I don't think that people take anything seriously.
Policy is changing. Governance requirements are changing. So one could almost say regulatory changes are enabling more and more women in the workplace. However, it still needs to come within the organization, from the culture of that organization.
Let's be equal. Give us that equal opportunity and see what we do with it.
Give people a chance. Give me a chance and let my work speak for itself.
I genuinely think companies that are listed on the exchange should not be allowed to have a board and an executive team without women.
It is absolutely unacceptable. We have less than 10% of the CEOs on the JSE being women. Unacceptable. The message that it sends is that the leaders of society do not fundamentally trust women to lead things.
A Harvard Business Review study found that women score higher in key leadership competencies, with research from McKinsey showing that companies with gender diverse leadership teams are 25% more likely to have above average profitability. Neurological research from Stanford University suggests women's brains are wired for enhanced multitasking, empathetic communication, and systemic thinking, critical skills in today's complex business landscape. Notably, women entrepreneurs demonstrate a nuanced approach to risk management, prioritizing sustainable growth and stakeholder value over aggressive expansion represents a paradigm shift from traditional competitive business models.
I think women, if they're given an opportunity, can definitely fly and do more amazing things.
Yes, you need courageous leaders, but you need people who'll be able to listen to their people, understand their people, to really design a company, not just for profit, but for the people as well.
Women are born obviously more of the feminine, nurturing,
maternal, naturally.
We are actually an H2H industry, human to human.
Women are able to bring in some of that emotion behind the solving. Men tend to want to run away from anything that's related to emotions. It's hard for them.
By virtue of always being on the margins and the fringes, you bring a thinking that is different.
It's just a given that women should have a seat at the table for all the value and the experience and contributions that they can make.
We love South Africa. It's a beautiful country. But if you look what is happening now, you look at the market, you look at the economy, where is actually killing the small businesses.
Yet, the solution might lie in something deceptively simple: connection.
I think if you can find a good mentor within the organization, be it a non-executive director or somebody else who's quite senior, but even maybe not necessarily in the organization, even outside the organization, that helps. Coaching, I think, is another good initiative.
While women often have more mentors than men, they're still less likely to advance into leadership positions. What's missing isn't guidance, it's advocacy, where industry leaders don't just advise but actively champion women entrepreneurs, opening doors and creating opportunities.
In this little sector of property, how many women have I been able to say, gosh, we've been able to bring more women into the sector, and we've been able to support and engage more women, and ensure that the women who are in get the support, get the mentorship, get the promotion, so that they can too do the same. I think that shift and that thinking and that ability to be able to showcase women, particularly not just women at the top ends, showcase women who are starting out, support them. You need the right structures, like the right mentorship structures. You need the right organizations like the ones that we're talking through today, She Builds. You need those types of initiatives.
But promises need partners. This is where organizations like Property Point step in, understanding that transformation requires more than policy. It demands practical action. Their approach is built on 3 pillars: reducing risk perception, building relationships, and establishing reputation. The impact is measurable. Today, 56% of businesses in their program are women-owned, with a target of reaching 70% by 2025. This story of challenge and transformation resonated far beyond South Africa's borders in 2024 when the She Builds documentary premiered in Bangkok. It sparked a conversation that crossed continents and industries. Women leaders from across the globe recognized their own struggles in these stories. Different languages, different countries, but the same barriers.
A lot of these sectors still have a glass wall, which makes it very difficult for women, number one, to break into these industries. And once they are in these industries, is the challenge around how do they continue to grow and build sustainable businesses? How do we begin to move the needle forward? How do we increase and accelerate impact based on the evidence? I think what we know, like in the African context, at our current pace, it's going to take around 142 years for us to close the gender gap. So I think with that, I am happy to present to you the She Builds documentary.
I mean, it was amazing to see a reflection of myself. Even though I'm based in West Africa, the stories of the women that were shared in the documentary was one that I personally could resonate with.
From technology firms in Singapore to manufacturing plants in Brazil, the pattern repeats. The obstacles that these South African women face in construction mirror those confronting female entrepreneurs worldwide. Limited access to capital, exclusion from established networks, and the constant pressure to prove themselves in male-dominated spaces.
Ironic, the notion that one has to convince a bank that there are women's businesses which are viable, and that's not to do with the fact that there's no viability in women's businesses. It's to do with stereotypes about women's businesses, that they are hand-to-mouth businesses. They are small little businesses on the side just to support the family, as opposed to businesses that have the opportunity for expansion and growth, etc.
We often talk about the women that are already in the pipeline, because those are the women that have been presented to us, right? But what about those women on enterprises that did not make it into the pipeline? If you want to fill that gender gap, we also need to provide them with the opportunities.
I see so many women's businesses operating in isolation.
Having mentors, having role models, having people that we can look up to, having women that are visible, that can represent us, that can speak for us.
This isn't just a South African challenge. It's not just a construction industry problem. This isn't just about construction. It's about reconstruction of an industry, of opportunities, of possibilities. And like any good building project, the blueprints for change exist. Now it's time to build, not just in South Africa, but everywhere women dare to dream bigger.
I love the part that she builds her home, she builds her community, and of course she's adding value. So women are women that add value, and they are doing a lot of development and training, and that is why we have come for the ANDE conference.
My work with women, and I know the women and men here today are going to continue to create great inroads so that we can see a future that's more inclusive and a future that is more empowered for women.
We have multiple times over and over again proven ourselves as being moms, as being leaders, as being pioneers in so many things that we got the opportunity to do so.
It feels like a glass ceiling because there are only so many, and there's 27 listed companies in the property industry in South Africa, so there can only be 27 CEOs.
The future for women is really exciting.
We've also started advocating around menopause for women in the workplace because it's so incredibly important. Everyone gets touched by it.
To ladies out there, women, bomme, bomama, let's stand up.
I've seen multiple times females leading amazing projects. It's being done.
You know, just take a moment to say, in this particular sector, and I've engaged a lot with many other sectors allied to property, we've done a lot in this sector.
You can't be what you can't see.
To see women representation is positive in the sense that one, it creates that role model that you can now see yourself as.
I'm sitting here as an example for my daughters and the young children, young girls out there, that when they look at me, they look at themselves and they say, I can even do better.
When my son look at me, every day will say to me, Mom, I didn't know that you can run the business the way you do it. I'm proud of you. You are a very good leader to us.
My daughter, I'll definitely not want her to have to work as difficult as I work through.
What I want for the future when my daughter in 10, 15 years time into the workforce is I don't want any more bias. It's not anymore a man's world. It's a world for us.
I think it's important that we watch ourselves in terms of how we are portraying our path to success, because we need to make sure at the same time we instill the importance of working hard for something.
We don't want to create versions of ourselves in our children. That's not what it's about. We want to create brilliant human beings who are themselves, who have enough role modeling to lean on.
She builds with purpose, value, the future with purpose, inclusive environment for others.
The unimaginable.
She builds with passion, she builds with agility, she builds with consistency.
The future is looking female.